Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into something pretty fundamental today. The structure of reality itself, basically. And we're using that appendix from the updated 2024 rulebook that just dropped.
Yeah, the new one. It's got a great overview.
Right. So if you play D&D, or maybe you're thinking about starting, understanding this cosmic map is, well, it's pretty key.
Absolutely. And what's really useful here is how this appendix lays out the whole multiverse concept. It's not just a list. It's the architecture for, like, everything, all the settings you might jump into.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to walk through this layout, as the source describes it. We'll look at the different planes, the layers.
And sort of understand why it all matters, where magic comes from, where the big cosmic players live, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate cheat sheet for how the cosmos works in the game. So where does this journey actually begin, according to the appendix? What's step one?
It starts close to home with what the source calls the material realm.
Okay, material realms. Makes sense.
These are, the main places where adventures actually happen. The big one is the material plane itself. Think of that as your prime reality. It's where you find settings like the Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, Eberron, Greyhawk.
Yeah.
All those worlds exist on this plane.
The normal world, relatively speaking, but packed with adventure.
Precisely. But the source also mentions these echoes, these parallel realms right alongside it.
Ah, yeah, the Feywild and the Shadowfell.
Exactly. The Feywild, super vibrant, high-emotion, wild nature turned up to 11. Beautiful, but dangerous.
And the Shadowfell.
It's dark reflection. Gloomy, decaying, sorrowful. And importantly, it's where you find those infamous domains of dread, trapping villains and stuff.
So distinct realms, but definitely connected. Okay, so that's the stage. How do you travel between them or, go beyond?
That's where the source brings in the transitive planes.
Right, transition.
Pretty much. They're not really places you'd set up shop, more like pathways between other planes.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's the astral plane, this huge, endless silvery void. It's the main connector between the material plane and the really distant outer planes.
And that's where spelljammers travel, right? Sailing the cosmos.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Sailing on currents of thought, basically. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. What's the other main pathway?
That would be the ethereal plane. It's more ghostly, misty. It connects the material plane to the inner planes, the elemental ones.
Okay, so astral goes out, ethereal goes in, sort of.
In a way, yeah. And the appendix points out something interesting about the ethereal plane, the border ethereal.
Border ethereal?
Yeah, it's a part of the ethereal that overlaps directly with the material plane. It's like right next door, just out of phase.
Ah, so that's how some spells let you, blink out of reality for a second or see ghostly things.
That's the idea. You're momentarily stepping into or peeking into that overlapping border zone. You might even glimpse creatures drifting through the ethereal.
Gotcha. Okay, so if the ethereal connects inwards, that leads us to the inner planes.
Right. If the material plane is the world and the transitive planes are the roads, the inner planes are like the raw materials, the source code.
The elemental building blocks.
Exactly that. The origins of fundamental forces. Air, earth, fire, water.
The classics.
Yep. And the source describes them pretty vividly. The plane of air, endless sky, floating islands, plane of earth, infinite solid rock and tunnels.
Plane of fire. Guessing that's hot.
Huh. Yeah, an everlasting inferno. And the plate of water is just this bottomless ocean, pure elemental essence.
Wow. And the appendix mentions the edges, too, like the elemental chaos.
Right, where all these pure elements just smash together in a wild, untamed storm. And also the para-elemental planes, which are like the border zones between the main inner plane.
Oh, like where fire meets earth, you get magma?
Exactly. Or air meets water, you get ice. Or air meets fire, you get smoke. Places where elements blend. Raw, untamed power is the theme there.
Okay, powerful stuff. So from the building blocks, we go outwards.
Yeah.
To the outer planes.
We do. And these are different again. If the inner planes are raw in nature, the outer planes are more about ideas, philosophy, belief.
And where souls go, right?
Yeah.
Gods and demons and angels.
That's the core concept. Spirits often end up here in the afterlife, and these planes are the homes of powerful immortals whose very nature reflects the plane's alignment or core idea.
The appendix calls out some specific spots, doesn't it? Like Sigil.
Yeah, Sigil, the City of Doors.
Yeah.
It's not technically a plane itself, but this massive city shaped like a torus, floating atop an infinitely tall spire in the Outlands. Its big gimmick is portals. Doors to basically anywhere else in the multiverse. A true cosmic hub.
And the Outlands itself, where Sigil sits.
That's the plane at the very center of the Outer Planes. It's fundamentally truly neutral ground. But the appendix notes this cool detail.
Yeah.
Because it borders all the other Outer Planes, the parts of the Outlands closer to, say, the Nine Hells might feel a bit more lawful and oppressive, while the parts near Elysium might feel more peaceful and good. Influence bleeds in from the neighbors.
So it's neutral, but with, like, different flavors depending on where you are.
Sort of, yeah. It's the baseline against which the others are defined.
Okay, and speaking of the others, the appendix lists a bunch of other outer planes. What's the main takeaway about them?
This is maybe the most crucial part for understanding them. Alignment isn't just an abstract concept there. It's real.
How so?
The source, especially with its table, makes it super clear. Each outer plane embodies one or more alignments. The Nine Hells is lawful evil. Elysium is neutral good. Limbo is chaotic neutral.
So the place itself is aligned, the landscape, the rules.
Everything. The very physics, the inhabitants, the challenges, they're all shaped by that plane's core philosophy or moral alignment. It's belief, made tangible, made into geography. That's a really central idea in this appendix.
Wow, okay, that's a lot to take in. So we've covered the material realms, our home base, plus the Feywild and Shadowfell.
Then the transitive planes, the astral and ethereal pathways.
Followed by the inner planes, the source of air, earth, fire, water, and their chaotic mix.
And finally, the outer planes, shaped by belief, alignment, home to gods and afterlives, with Sigil and the Outlands at the center.
We've basically mapped out the cosmos as presented in this new rulebook appendix.
Pretty much unpack the whole structure, from your starting world out to the furthest realms of pure idea.
And knowing this framework, this map from the source, it really helps you make sense of things in the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. Why is this plane full of demons? Why does this spell work this way? Where did that powerful artifact come from? The answers often lie in this planar structure.
It's not just background fluff. It's like the operating system for the reality your adventures take place in.
Yeah, it informs everything.
So here's something to think about. How does the very nature of these places, like the raw power of the elemental chaos, or the way belief literally shapes the outer planes, how does that influence the creatures born there, or the kind of stories that naturally unfold in those environments? That link between place and identity, which the appendix highlights, is super deep.
A great point to ponder. The environment truly shapes the inhabitants, cosmically speaking.
Definitely something to chew on. Well, that's our deep dive into the multiverse based on the latest rules. Hope this helps you navigate the cosmos in your games.
Yeah, hope it was useful.
If you enjoyed this and want more D&D insights and breakdowns, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, Dragons and Disasters. We'll catch you in the next one.